Well, what's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and welcome to episode 299 of my weekly Q&A show, Titled People's Questions. Really excited to see what we might do for next week's 300 episode. We got a pretty solid episode of questions, and even a good number of them some of you guys answered, but I'll be sure to fill in the blanks for those that are a little bit off in terms of what my response would be. We're starting off with the first question coming from Santos Garpino, and you want to know, which is my favorite character from the CW Flash show? I'll keep it simple. I'll go with Barry Allen. From what I saw of Justice League, I can tell that the CW version is a lot better, and not just because we've had more time to kind of get to know him as a character, but I think it's closer to what Barry Allen has actually been in the comic books. From what I saw from the Justice League Barry Allen, it seemed like he seemed more like Wally West, so I don't know why they just didn't use Wally West. That would have been just fine. But I would say Barry Allen is my favorite character from the CW. He's definitely had he's definitely has some problems. I would say he's a little off in some departments, but I'd say he's pretty faithful to the comic book version of Barry Allen. Next question comes from the Black Struggle, and you want to know, after the disappointment of Justice League, what do I think the DCEU should do next? What do I think they should do, or what do I think is going to eventually end up happening? Honestly, I think they should reboot, and as soon as they get... they're probably not, because I'm already hearing tales that Aquaman's already done, so they have to release that next year. They're already going to start filming, like, the next Suicide Squad movie, and they're going to do Wonder Woman 2, so I would prefer that they would just reboot it, because if so many people were just so dissatisfied with Justice League, which is like your big movie, what makes you think people are going to want to come out to go see Aquaman? What makes you think people are going to come out and go see Suicide Squad? I think it's going to have to come to a point where, honestly, I hope that they keep these movies going just so they fail, just so Warner Brothers stops. They stop and say, listen, we cannot keep going down this path. Otherwise, this is going to end badly. And heck, who knows, if things are bad enough, maybe Disney will go and buy them up, and then heck, maybe my prediction of DC characters no longer being DC characters, they're just being integrated and becoming Marvel characters, will actually happen. But as I would say, they need a reboot. They just start fresh. People are smart enough to understand when a reboot has happened. You don't need to just stop what you're doing and say we made a mistake. You guys have made several mistakes, and if you just keep going down this path, you're not going to go anywhere. Next question comes from, let's see, Macho Wesker 17. You want to know, do I think that after the VGAs we're going to see more Death Stranding trailers, or is Kojima going to make us wait again? Well, we got a trailer at the VGAs, so I don't mind waiting. I trust Kojima. I know his style. From what I saw in the Death Stranding trailer, still not quite sure what's going on. We didn't see any gameplay, which I'll admit I was a little bit disappointed in. But if this is I've just been hearing a lot of buzz, so I will simply wait until this game comes out. I've trusted Kojima for all these years. He's never let me down. Metal Gear Solid 5 was not his fault, in my opinion. So I can simply wait till the game comes out and then see what just masterpiece he's going to bring us, because it definitely looks different and unique than any type of game I've seen before. So, we'll have to wait and see. Next question comes from Casty J. Williams. You want to know, since I like The Mummy from 1999, are you aware that the CGI effects in the sequel, especially on the Scorpion King, look pretty bad? Yes, I'm aware of that. I know that the whole CGI rock, like half human, half scorpion, it looked pretty bad at the time. It still looks pretty bad now. I know some I would even say some of the CGI in the original Mummies movies, it hasn't quite stood the test of time. It looks certainly outdated, but I can forgive it because it's still a great movie. And I think that The Mummy Returns in its own way is an okay film, but that CGI Scorpion King hybrid was definitely weird looking. Next question comes from J-Bat, and pretty much had the same question as Macho Wesker. You were just basically asking about the Death Stranding trailer. Next question comes from Alu Cerna, And you want to know, who do I think would win in a fight between Nero from Devil May Cry and Hellboy from the Dark Horse comics? They're so similar. They both only use revolver-type guns. They both have very unique arms. But if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Nero simply because I think his arm has a lot more uses. And I think that his devil trigger might be, I think that they're enhanced forms. I think they would match, they would cancel each other out. So it really just comes to the use of their arms. And I just think that I've been more impressed with what Nero's arms can do rather than what Hellboy's arm can do. I think gun-wise they would match each other. I think in a straight-up offense they would match each other. It would just be who could be more creative with their, you know, unique arm, and I think Nero would win that department. So I think that little itch would probably give him the win. Next question comes from Matt Cruz. You want to know, what game am I most looking forward to next year? I'll list off a few of them, but I do plan on doing an official video going over my most anticipated games of next year. But 3 games that I am very excited to get my hands on, hopefully, is definitely Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, and the next Ni no Kuni. Those are probably the games I'm most anticipated for. There are a few other ones, but I feel like those are like safe bets that they're going to be great games, so I don't think I need to be too concerned with whether or not they're going to be, you know, awesome games or not. Next question comes from the Immortal Super Being, and you also had a somewhat Hellboy style question, and you want to know, do I think that Hellboy from the 2 Hellboy movies could survive the hell off Dante's Inferno and win against the devil? That's interesting. I say that's I mean, going through the 9 circles of hell may be interesting, but you have to remember that Dante, even in the game, he did have some help in a number of those areas. So could he get through the 9 circles of hell himself? Maybe. I think he'd have a harder time getting through it. And in terms of getting through the devil, well, you technically can't kill, as far as I know, you can't really kill the devil in his own domain. And the whole point of Dante's Inferno was never really to kill the devil. It was to keep him trapped there, because the whole point was that, you know, spoiler alert, Dante actually dies at the beginning of the game, and the devil brought him down to hell to release him. And then once he almost escaped, Dante was just praying to God and just wanted the devil to just stay in hell and like give me the power of faith. And I'm not sure if Hellboy could do the same thing in that regard. So I would say his odds would be like 30%. He could do it 70% no, simply because you really need the power. Dante needed powers, holy powers, in order to get through the 9 circles of hell. And I don't think that just a regular demon like Hellboy could really do it. It's possible, but I wouldn't say it's likely. Next question comes from Diadrive CJ. You want to know that, you know that I'm not much of a Soul Calibur fan, but which 2 or 4 guest characters would I like to see in Soul Calibur 6? Both new, or at least one returning one. I honestly don't know. I've only played Soul Calibur 5 or 4 once. I think the last one I played, the guest characters that they had was it had Starkiller, Vader, and Yoda. That was like the last Soul Calibur I played, so I'm really not sure who you could add. You can add in anyone. I mean, if they want to continue the style of adding Star Wars characters, just add a few other more Star Wars characters. I honestly just don't know who you would want to put into a Soul Calibur game, just because I'm not too familiar with it. Next question comes from Kenny Kausmo. I hope I said that right. And you want to know, as a fellow clone fan, which of these battles would you prefer if I was ranked a clone captain? Megiddo, the longest battle in the Clone Wars, or Felicia, the planet that gave deadly diseases to clones and haunted them to the very end? I would probably stick with Felicia. No, you know what? Now that I think about it, no, Megiddo. I'm thinking, because Felicia, all those creatures. I mean, it's one thing to have to deal with the CIS. I don't want to have to deal with the I don't have to deal with the wildlife. I think my Guido, it's long and cold, but heck, as the old saying goes, nobody complained about the cold on Hoth. So so now that I think of it, I would pick my Guido. And honestly, I think having Kiadi Mooney there would make me feel a lot better. And with that, those are all the questions that you guys have sent me for this episode. If you guys have any more questions for episode 300, be sure to send them in the comments down below. But make sure you make them extra special, because I want to do something special for episode 300, because that is a lot of episodes. And like always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe to get tracked from my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.